Dave Gardy here live at the Washington Golf Center for golfcenter.tv, and I have here with me Gary Heinzmann, who's one of the top club fitters in the Washington area. Gary, give me an overview of the Honma collection. We're in here now, but we know these cost a lot of money. Why am I spending that extra money for these clubs?
That's a good question. Two reasons in the golf club. First of all, the shaft. And the shaft is actually the engine of a golf club. And what the shaft does is it loads and unloads. So it flexes, it torques open, and at the bottom it closes, and that's what provides the power. In a Honma golf club, the shafts are hand-rolled. Instead of being glue with fibers of graphite, they're actually sheets of graphite. Now, they're hand-rolled by an individual craftsman who served an apprenticeship of at least 11 years before he ever touches the shaft. Very high cost labor, very skilled artisans do it, unlike the machines that roll it. Number two, the density of this shaft is about 6 times the density of American shafts, or traditionally what we consider a graphite shaft. And that density means that the frequency or flex will be more consistent. It also means that from inside to outside diameter you can be thinner, so you can make the club lighter because the graphite is actually denser. It's 60 particles per cubic centimeter as opposed to 20 or 30 in a standard, less expensive shaft. The second thing that makes it an expensive club is most clubs are cast, and this one is no exception. As opposed to being forged, if it's cast, it has to go into a mold. Now, American molds use a two-step process. They use a two-piece mold that gets fitted together. The molten metal is poured in. When it cools, it's broken down, and then the cast is reused again. Over time, these molds start to wear. In the Honma process, they use a process called the lost wax process. What that does is it provides a form from which a mold is made. The wax is leaked out or melted out, and they actually pour the molten metal into, in this case, it happens to be a ceramic mold. Okay, that mold, when the metal cures, is destroyed. So each club has its own set of molds. So there's no weld marks here when the two halves of the mold went together. So as a result, there's no slag or trace metal on the outside. So very little finishing is really need to be done. They do use jeweler's rouge and a jeweler's wheel, to get it that shiny, that precise. But each head is precisely like each other head or each other 7-iron head, because each one has its own particular mold, and there's no chance that the mold will wear down because it's only used once.
Now, people who buy these clubs, you talk to them on a repeat basis. They come back. When they want to buy the next set, is it like Mercedes owners? They keep buying a Mercedes. Do they keep buying the Honma? Are they that sold on it after playing with them?
Generally speaking, yes. These are people who are aficionados to begin with. They've had numerous sets of clubs, no doubt, and they've moved up to more like a Rolls than Mercedes. Rolls, Ferrari, Lamborghini, that sort of thing. And it's that sort of enthusiast, golf club enthusiast, that would do that, much more so than your normal hacker, for lack of a better word.
Now, does that mean there's a used market? If I go on eBay, I'm going to see a whole bunch of these for sale as opposed to other lines of clubs?
Rarely. The people tend to use these until they've used them up, and they wear them down. The grooves wear down in any club, but because they spent so much money for them, they're apt to spend the money to buy a new set rather than rummage around and try to find a used set. No, we rarely see Honmas traded.
Interesting. Well, great. Thanks so much for
My
that
pleasure.
perspective on the Honma Club and spending that extra money. Just overall, rough set. If you were to fit somebody with a full set of Honma clubs, what ballpark range are we talking about?
Irons 1,700 to 4,500. Again, depending on the quality of the shaft, because they make several levels of shaft, from great to superb, and
it's a lot of overhead when you get an apprentice for 11 years before he even gets to touch the shaft.
Quite a bit, absolutely. Woods run 4 to 1,400.
Fascinating.
Depending on the shaft.
Great. Well, we're here in this the high end of the neighborhood here. Thank you again, Gary Heinzmann,
Dave, thank you.
club fitter for Washington Golf. I'm Dave Gardy for GolfCenter.tv.